Well folks, so what we're going to do today, we're going to cover a couple different things. First off, I got some real nice cherry logs in, and I'm going to show you how I prepare these. Now, these are veneer grade cherry or near veneer. They are really nice, and I got the logger to cut them a little bit long because that lets me trim them correctly. You want a little bit extra so you can make the decisions about where you want to cut the log. A lot of times a logger, although he may be good, doesn't understand where the best part of the meat is in the log. So I asked him to saw them up a little bit long, or I get them sawn a little bit long. Then I do the trimming myself. So I figured I'd slow down a little bit and I'd show you how I prep the logs, how we end seal the logs. Let's get started. 8 foot 3 inch measuring stick. Anyway, these logs I bought, they're a little long, so I need to trim them to the right length. The goal is to get the absolute highest quality that I can out of them. So I'm looking on either end, trying to see if there's any cracks, any disease, any kind of defects, and then I'm going to trim that off. If you look from this side of it, you can see it's got a bad twist to it. You can see it right here. See where it's got like a spiral. See how that's got that spiral? That means that this log has a lot of stress in it. So when you're trimming logs up, one other thing you look for is this. This is a huge stress crack. Couple things. This is the center or the pith. This is the pith. This is off center. It's much further from here than there. So the center of the log, or the axis of the juvenile wood, is right here, but you can see how it's not centered at all. See this huge crack? That's a stress crack. That's not a drying crack. That means that the two planes of the wood are trying to come apart in this direction. There's a little bit of a stress crack here. This shows that if you were to saw the wood in this plane and in this plane, all those boards are gonna try to crack or bow in that direction. So the reality is, what you want to do is you want to put the stress in the curved direction. So I would be sawing these guys up like that. That means that they'll move this way, but they won't jack up like a carrot peel. Either way, there's a lot of damaged wood here. You can see this huge crack. Again, see how it spirals. So that's got to come off. I can see a large crack back there. Notice how it's got this twist. I want to eliminate as much of that as possible, so I'm going to put my stick here. You see, this tree's actually been damaged right here. Even though the log's much longer, this is the part of the log that I want to make lumber out of. I'll break my stick. Oh, this is a joy. This is a nasty one here. This is a pretty nice one. This is like about a 16, 17 footer. Nice butt log, no knots. These are the ones we like to cut. Let's go ahead and measure it. So this is what we're looking for when we trim up a log. Got a nice clean log here. It's about 8'6". Got a nice clean log here. Very off-center pith, so this will be a good candidate for vertical grain sawing. But otherwise looks good. It's got a pretty wide sap ring. Then we have the other side of that log, about 8'6". Just a little bit of trim on the end. Basically 2 zero defect logs. That's what we try to saw up here at the Hobby Hardwood. You gotta be careful where you step. You can see a footprint right in the middle of a fire ant nest. That's one reason you wear boots out here. Nasty little guys, they will sting the living fire out of you. Hate them. Chippy's enjoying the shade. One of the most important things about sawing and processing high-grade hardwood is end checking. Basically what happens is when you put a clean cut on a log or a board, if it starts to dry too fast, it will start to check or crack. You spray the ends with a material. Typically it's called a green wood sealer or a log end sealer. And it basically clogs the pores of the wood so that moisture will not be lost through the ends of the wood, so therefore it won't dry too fast and won't check. Let's go get the end sealer. Nice thing about using a water-based end sealer, or greenwood sealer, or log sealer, or whatever they call it, that you don't have to clean everything every time you use it. I use a backpack sprayer. I've used a power sprayer. I've used a brush. I've used any number of things. This is what works. Something you have to consider is that as soon as you cut those logs, you got to be careful. You can't do anything about the stretch cracks. You can do a lot about the drying too fast from the ends. Those are self-imposed defects. You spray a little goop on there and the problem goes away. You want to make sure everything's kind of cleaned off. These are beautiful logs. Last thing I want to do is have them end check. Nice and tight. And that's it. Let's go do the other side. We've done a lot of wood this way. Now you've got multiple options. You can seal it in a log after you've trimmed it, or you can wait until you actually saw it and then you can seal it. It kind of depends. These logs are so nice, being veneer grade cherry. I'm gonna go ahead and seal them right now. What's also interesting about a sprayer is that I did cut this a little bit, about 10-15% sometimes, maybe more, maybe less. But a sprayer will put it on so thick, it'll actually put it on thicker than a brush will. Because a brush, you're brushing everything off. With a sprayer, I'll see if I can't get a close up. With a sprayer, it's actually going on so thick that it runs. So even though you cut it, you're still putting a thickness on there, if that makes any sense. So if you're brushing, you'd be smoothing it out and getting a thinner layer. Since you're spraying, you get the drips. I mean, you can see it's going on plenty thick. You can see the white on the ground. Either way, I'm done. So there we go. 7 veneer grade cherry logs ready to saw. 0 knot, basically 0 defect. Just gorgeous. It's worth putting extra effort into. That's going to be some absolutely incredible wood when I saw it up. It won't get any prettier than that. Beautiful Appalachian cherry.